I'm sorry. I voted for him. I thought he was going to help folks like me. I really did. Now my SNAP's gone, my Medicaid's gone. They cut off my heat and help last week. I don't know how I'm supposed to buy groceries next month.
I just want to say to every American that's having trouble with this, I am sorry I voted for him. I regret it with all my heart. I feel like I've enabled this monster to destroy democracy, destroy everything that is good in this country.
We've got a very crazy man driving the train, and he's going to kill this country.
And Anthony, are you voting a straight up and down Democratic ticket?
Not only there, I am actually for the very first time contributing across the board, across the country. And I've never, ever written a check or spent any money on anything political because I'm afraid.
I've been a lifelong Republican since the day I turned 18. For the first time in my life, I'm going to vote a straight Democratic ticket. Is if they're connected to Donald Trump, they are not connected to me.
So you now are no longer a Republican?
I am not, no.
Because of Donald Trump?
Because of Donald Trump. It was no longer the party that I joined. It's morphed into something that's almost unrecognizable.
You were a lifelong Republican.
Right.
If somebody had told you, say 15 years ago, that you are preparing to vote a straight up and down Democratic ticket in the midterms, you would have said what to them?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
So why are you now doing it?
To see Republicans not stand up to him, and the ones that do are just quitting.
I just think there's no values left anymore. There should be values. We have no values. He doesn't have any values. I thought he had values.
No, I'm definitely voting Democrat. I've been knocking on doors. I got a clipboard.
You're even canvassing.
I am canvassing for a Democrat in Wyoming.
That's how strongly you feel.
I believe hardly anything the president says, but I do believe he's a danger to this country and to our democracy. I'm going to fight every day. I just want to say to every American that's having trouble with this, I am sorry I voted for him. I regret it with all my heart.
People do not owe you forgiveness for finally leaving MAGA. They just don't. And I know that that's not a popular sentiment with people, but I completely stand by that. I was scrolling and came across a video of somebody that was in tears because they were talking about how they've been deconstructing and they finally left MAGA, but they don't ever want to be a part of any political party ever again because of the backlash they received. And the backlash, mind you, being people going, I'm sorry, but it's too late. You've caused so much damage. Like, I can never forgive you, which I think is completely fair, and it shouldn't be expected to get an overwhelmingly positive response given the situation we're currently in. I can understand the fact that people are saying, oh, we should welcome them with open arms. I completely get that, but when you for 10 years have been telling people to look around and observe the things that are right in front of their face, especially when the things are racism, misogyny, transphobia, hatred, homophobia, and they can't see it, after 10 years, you're gonna be like, okay, well, too little, too late. Like, I've been screaming it at your face and now people are dying. I'm sorry, but anyone that is a triple voter of that man is partially responsible for that. If your response to people rightfully criticizing you as someone that recently left MAGA is to now threaten to continually not vote in the way that is going to stop this stuff from happening, then you weren't deserving of forgiveness in the first place. Because clearly you still don't get it. I'm glad that there are people that are willing to forgive and move forward and, you know, welcome these people with open arms, but it should not be the expectation that everyone is going to want to do that or be okay with it, especially with how many people have been killed, deported, imprisoned, and everything that we're seeing in our current climate. Forgiveness should not be the expectation. And if you are someone that left MAGA, we're very happy that you did that. I hope you continue to deconstruct and teach the people around you. You also have to accept the criticism and the fact that you have harmed hundreds of thousands of millions of people, and people are going to hold you accountable for that. Does that suck? Yes, but that's part of the deconstructing.
Right?
You know how I know the Orange Clown is losing his MAGA cult? Because they did not obey his latest talking point. Now, we all know that MAGA is the most brainless, obedient, bootlicking cult in the entire world. And they get a lot of their energy and their sense of community from their dumb little mantras, their little slogans that the Orange Clown tells them to repeat. And we've all heard the big ones, right? It's like, lock her up, drain the swamp, make America great again. These are just like nonsense phrases. They don't mean anything. And most importantly, they don't ever come true, but it doesn't matter to the cult because they enjoy saying them, because at the core of them, the seed of them, is the idea that somebody else is getting hurt. And the latest one that the Orange Clown and his cabinet of freaks tried to sell to the cult was, remember? Short-term pain for long-term gain. Now, the Orange Clown said that over and over again, and all of his little goons went out and said it all over the place, all over Fox News, all over Twitter. And here's the thing, it didn't really work. It didn't really catch on. Now, this was right at the beginning of the tariff insanity. And at the beginning, you know, a few of the cult members tried to be good little soldiers, and they went out and they made videos repeating it, and a few of them would spam it in the comments and, you know, well, blah, blah, blah. But it just kind of faded away. And now if you don't understand why it didn't catch on, it's because you fundamentally misunderstand MAGA as a cult. And I think a lot of people on the left actually do. Because how many times have I heard, MAGA does not care about being hurt as long as they are hurting others. And this is absolutely untrue. MAGA are the most spoiled, selfish, short-sighted people on the planet, and they do not tolerate discomfort in any way. And even when they cheer on this regime's most vile policies, it's because they think there's something in it for them. For example, when you see them celebrating mass deportations, it's not just because they're gross racists who want to see brown people brutalized. Obviously, yes, that is a factor. They are. But it's also because they think that removing immigrants is going to directly improve their lives. They genuinely believe that there is some fantastical high-paying job out there with incredible benefits, and the only reason they don't have that job is because an immigrant took it. They believe that they can't afford a house because some immigrant family is living in the house that was meant for them, and once they remove that family, they're gonna swoop right in and be able to afford it. There's some cheese slice lady out there who genuinely believes that there's not enough cheese slices in her fridge for all of her gross kids because some immigrant out there is raising the price of cheese. Shout out to the cheese slice lady. I do honestly think about her all the time, and I wonder how many cheese slices she has in her fridge right now. But back to the slogan, short-term pain for long-term gain. This was a fatal miscalculation by the Orange Clown, and this was a fatal miscalculation by any cult leader. Because every intelligent cult leader knows you keep your cult in line by telling them, hey, you gotta hand over your blind allegiance, your paycheck, your teenage daughters, because the rapture is coming. What you don't ever do is tell them what day the rapture is coming. Hello, the entire thing will fall apart. And the Orange Clown told his cult there is a day of rapture. There is a day when the economy is going to be flowing. There's going to be no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Your kids' medications are going to be 1,000% cheaper. Your lives are going to be better. All your dreams are going to come true. And that day is January 22nd. And that day came, and now the clock is ticking. And he stands there and he tells them short-term pain for long-term gain? He tells them, buckle up, buttercups. It's time to sacrifice. It's time to be a real patriot. It's time to suffer a little for the greater good of the country. Yeah, freaking right. They might not be in full revolt right now, but their deafening silence at that latest talking point that they were supposed to run with is very telling. Because this is the first time that the Orange Clown has told them, yeah, I'm gonna hurt others, but I'm also gonna hurt you. And that is not what they signed up for. And before you say, what does it matter if they've lost MAGA? This is authoritarianism. They don't even need their votes anymore. Well, that is not how this regime is acting. They are scrambling to consolidate power. They are scrambling to mess with the midterms. These are not the actions of a regime that has it in the bag. And come Christmas, you think they're not going to remember the words of their dear leader, the Orange Clown, when he told them with a smile on his face, well, maybe your little daughter doesn't need 30 toys for Christmas. Maybe she'd be happy with 2 or 3. I don't think so. Do you?
Okay, y'all, I can't do it. Hopefully you can hear me because I have to be a little quieter than normal, especially when I am this. My household is sleeping, but if I have one more Trump supporter tell me that I need to have some empathy for Trump or for them or what they might be going through right now because whatever's going on, are you serious? Empathy? You want me, you want us to have empathy when you have spent the last 10 years denigrating everything we are. Attacking the LGBTQ community, attacking immigrants, attacking everybody that isn't you. just a few months ago, y'all were gleefully talking about feeding immigrants to alligators. You sit here and laugh about people being separated from one another because they're criminals. So is Donald Trump. He has called me because I voted for Democrats. I'm a leftist. I'm those people he talks about. He has called me vermin. He has said that I have been poisoning the blood of this country. He has called me the enemy within this country that I love with every fiber of my being. So fuck you. You're not getting one bit of goddamn empathy from me. I don't wish him harm, but I don't give one flying fuck if he goes. And no empathy.
County, I know we're not Kerrville. I know we're not San Angelo or San Antonio, but hell, we're human beings. Help us.
Now, we all feel compassion for what's happening in Texas, right? We all feel that. However, isn't this you?
Stuck up on your video this morning.
You just couldn't help out of
But I'm gonna have to do that. We're not gonna help out anybody. Y'all been living on food stamps, EBT, Section 8 housing your entire freaking life.
That's all.
And isn't this also you?
It's almost over. It's just begun.
And what about this?
What you gonna do, crybaby?
With alligator
I want Alcatraz first if I want to. And what you gonna do?
You see, this is just the hypocrisy of MAGA Trump supporters. You want compassion for yourselves, but you have no compassion for anybody else. And I've seen quite a few right-wing MAGA supporters saying, how dare you make this issue political? How dare you say that this is what you voted for? I've seen tons of them. So let's just clear something up. First of all, we're not saying that we are happy that this happened to anybody. We're not saying that, but we are pointing out the fact that you did vote for this, that you supported it. You just didn't support it when it happens directly to you. I would like to think that maybe now you'll wake up and have compassion for others and realize that the person you voted for doesn't care about you. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say there is no growth within your party.
Hello everyone, it's great to be with you again. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to everyone who continues to follow and support this channel. Your presence and encouragement mean a great deal. Today, we are going to discuss a thought-provoking topic. Whenever I sit down to have conversations like this, I often think about the promises and messages Donald Trump presented to the American people, as well as the enthusiasm many people showed when they heard those promises. When the slogan, "Make America Great Again," was repeated over and over, many people embraced it without truly questioning what it meant. In reality, however, bringing America back to greatness does not necessarily mean that ordinary working people will benefit. For many, it can represent an opportunity for the wealthy and powerful to maintain their status, continue accessing valuable resources, and preserve the advantages they already enjoy within the existing system. Yet many people enthusiastically supported, voted for, and placed their trust in that slogan. When Trump announced that he would tighten immigration policies and carry out large-scale deportations, many people welcomed and supported the idea, but few considered the immigrant workers laboring on farms, construction sites, and in physically demanding jobs that many Americans are unwilling to take on. Few thought about the people who help keep the economy functioning every day. Few paid attention to ordinary consumers whose countless small purchases help drive the marketplace. Similarly, when policies involving sanctions and pressure on other countries were announced, many people quickly approved of them. However, they did not anticipate that those decisions could directly affect their own businesses, jobs, and incomes. Then, when the consequences became apparent, many people began to realize that events were not unfolding as they had expected. They felt misled or taken advantage of. At that point, they hope to receive understanding and sympathy from those around them and from the rest of the world. The challenge, however, is that it is difficult to receive empathy when you have not previously shown empathy toward others. It is difficult to be heard when you have never listened to those affected by the very policies you supported. Today, let's set aside the broader story of the world and focus solely on the United States. What is noteworthy is that many of the criticisms you are hearing are not coming from outside the country. They are coming from other Americans, people who live in the same society and who are talking about those who supported Trump. Their message is clear. They do not see empathy. From their perspective, many people voted based on anger, division, or personal interests. They believe voters failed to consider those who would be negatively affected by those policies. Very few people paid attention to those who might lose jobs, educational opportunities, the right to remain in the country, or the lives they had spent years building because of policy changes. And now, as hardships begin to affect them personally, many of those same people are seeking understanding and support. They need allies. They need support. They need others to speak out against decisions they once applauded. They want more people standing alongside them, joining protests, signing petitions, or calling for change. However, many people argue that this is not necessarily genuine regret. They believe it is simply a reaction to being personally affected. The reality is that this is not the first time Trump has been elected to the White House. Americans entrusted him with power before. Later, in another election, they chose to remove him from that position for reasons they themselves understood clearly. They had seen things they did not like, yet they voted to bring him back. And today, many people hope that those who once opposed him and warned them will sympathize with the situation they are now experiencing. That is something many people find difficult to accept. In life, things often move toward a form of balance. Some of the difficulties that certain Trump voters are experiencing today are challenges that many other communities have faced for a very long time. Yet when those communities spoke up in the past, they often did not receive the attention they deserved. Many people did not want to listen to stories about inequality, discrimination, or the hardships others were enduring. But now, as similar issues begin affecting their own lives, they want to be heard and understood. The world has changed. Society has changed as well. Things that were once ignored are now being viewed differently. Some people say this is not what they intended when they cast their votes. They insist they do not support the consequences that are unfolding. Others, however, argue that the warning signs were visible from the beginning. They believe people were warned about what could happen, but chose to ignore those warnings. What many people did not expect was not that these consequences would occur, but that they would happen to them personally. Meanwhile, those who predicted these developments simply watch events unfold, much as they warned they would. They spoke out, they tried to explain, but their warnings went unheard. Thank you all for taking the time to watch. Wherever you may be watching from, I wish you peace, happiness, and many good things in life. Please continue to subscribe and share if you find this content helpful. Our goal is not to foster hatred or attack anyone. We simply want to discuss what is happening, share different perspectives, and help people learn from the decisions and experiences they encounter throughout life. Wishing everyone good health, peace, and the very best of luck.